Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and to a brand new episode of CELPIP Writing. So here we have something a bit different. Last time we did task 1. That was an email. This time we're doing a survey response. And now emails are generally fairly straightforward, fairly easy to write for most people. But almost everyone that I've, consulted or spoken to tends to struggle with a survey response because, again, that's not something we're really used to. It's not really a thing that we really do. Personally, I find the question a bit weird as well. I mean, a letter or an email, that's something you do regularly, so that's not a big deal. But a survey response, it's a bit strange. Even an essay, like an IELTS essay, that's still okay because, of course, we've written essays in school and college, so we know really kind of, what to do. But when it comes to a survey response, most people will, what I've seen is a lot of people just try and write some kind of an essay, but that's not quite the right, format. So I'm going to show you how I write survey responses, and I hope that you will learn something from it. So let's get started. So first we have our question, and it's really important that you read your question carefully. Your city wants to improve the traffic situation in the city. They want to know your opinion. Which choice do you prefer? Explain why you prefer that choice. Also, explain the problems with the other choice. What a lot of people do is they kind of, like I said, most people treat this as some kind of essay, and that's where the problem really starts. Because here they are very clear. To their credit, their instructions are always extremely clear. You cannot just pick one side and write about that side only. You must write about both sides, why you prefer your choice and also why you don't prefer the other choice. So it can't just be one-sided. That's a mistake a lot of people make. And, thankfully, it's an easy mistake to avoid. So let's get started. So we have two options. They always give you two options. Option 1, widen the roads. The roads are very narrow now. There are traffic jams every day. Or option 2, improve the public transit system. Now there are only buses. The city is thinking of building a train system. That would be very expensive. So you've got two choices. Now there is no good choice and there is no bad choice. You pick whatever you feel is best, whatever you feel is most appropriate. You pick that. That's it. You don't have to worry about, is this, nicer? Is this a better option? Both are equally good. Choose whatever you prefer. But remember that we're not writing a one-sided response. So let's say, for example, you pick option 1. You're not just going to write about widening the roads and why that's a good idea. You're also gonna have to write about why building the public transit system would not help, would not be a good idea. And that's where, as I was saying, most people tend to falter. They tend to, not do that or avoid that. And that's why a lot of people, even though they have great scores in reading and listening and even speaking, they tend to struggle with getting more than a 7 or 8 for writing. So the first thing we're going to do, let me just actually color code a few things. So the first thing you see right here, your city wants to improve the traffic situation in the city. That is the goal. That is what you have to keep in mind when you, are explaining your point of view. When you explain that, for example, widening the roads is a good idea. Why? How is that going to help to fix the traffic problem? That is your goal. So the first sentence is always your goal. And what you need to do, you have to explain whichever choice you prefer, why you prefer that choice. But you also have to talk about why you don't prefer the other choice. So first, let's just decide what we'd prefer. I think improving the public transit system is a much better idea. So the very first thing you want to do is, oh, and by the way, another problem that I see, I almost forgot about this, there's two types of people. I mean, in terms of doing things incorrectly, there's two types of people. Mostly people tend to write these survey responses in the form of an essay, just like an IELTS essay, or they tend to write these in the form of an email. So that's also wrong. You're not addressing anyone in particular. You're not writing to one singular person. So avoid all of that. And when you write a survey response, you don't need, oh, I am XYZ, I work here, I would like to share my, you don't need any of that. That is just useless. And again, you have the same time, you have the same word limit. So you need to write a minimum of 150 all the way up to a maximum of 200 words. Not more than that and not less than 150 either. Otherwise, there's a penalty. So it's not like the IELTS, and you have to be careful that you don't, go under or go above the word limit. And so again, here as well, you get 27 to 28 minutes, roughly around that much. So as I was saying, the first thing you're going to do is you are going to, well, let me tell you about idea generation. Let's say, for example, I think that this is, a better idea. So that's what I am in favor of. Now you are going to need 3 ideas each, 3 in favor of your choice and 3 ideas against the other choice. So that's what you'll need, and you're going to end up having 4 paragraphs in all. But the last paragraph is just a conclusion, that's all. So the first thing you do to start your paragraph is you're just going to explain, you make your point of view or make your stand or make your choice clear. And you can do this in this way, in my opinion. According to me, I think you can use any of these. So in my opinion, which is I choose the second option, right? So I'm just going to say, in my opinion, improving the public transport system, improving the public transport system. I don't like the text. What's going on? There we go. That's much better. Right, so in my opinion, improving the public transport system is a much better choice. There's many ways you could say this. I think I would prefer to say improving the public transport system would, help to fix the problem. So would help to alleviate this problem. Now, there's many ways you could be writing your introduction. What's the point of the introduction? It's just to make your point of view clear. That's all that you need to do. So what is your stance? Like, what do you believe in? Do you think option 1 is good? Do you think option 2 is good? Whichever. So you make that clear. What a lot of people do is they spend a lot of time just discussing both sides, but they never really make their point of view directly clear right from the start. And that is extremely important. You don't want to keep your reader guessing. You don't want your reader to, have to wait until the very end of your response to find out where do you stand or what your point of view is. So don't confuse your reader. Just make your point of view direct, clear, easy to understand, right from the very first sentence. And so that's what you need to remember. You don't have to write much, but because you're not writing much, that also means that whatever you do write has to be good, has to be clear, has to be high quality, right? So as I was saying, improving the public transport system would be or will be, would help to fix the problem, right? Would alleviate the existing traffic problem in the city. And that's your first sentence. Now, the next thing you're going to do is, after you write this first sentence, you can use your pen and paper. You can just type in directly on the computer screen anyway. Like I was saying, you're going to need 3 pairs of ideas. So let's do it this way. What I call them is a well, you have a point and then you have a counterpoint, supporting point and then a counterpoint. So my first idea is going to be, or what you can also do is you can just create first. There's many ways to do this. You can just create three, reasons for why you chose. For example, I chose the public transport system. So why did I choose to improve the public transport system? What are my reasons, right? So here, for example, I would say trains are precise. That's one reason. Like, they have a fixed, schedule. Like if you see that the train, the notice board says it'll arrive at 10:15 a.m., it usually arrives at that time, maybe, a few minutes here and there, but it's very precise. So you know that when I get on this train at 10:15 a.m., I will reach my destination by 11 or whatever. So they're very precise, and of course that will help to decrease traffic. So trains are precise and they're not affected by roads, right? Because when you use the streets or the roads, you cannot guarantee that just because you're on the highway at 11, you will reach your destination by 12. It's not a guarantee. You may not. So trains are precise. That's much better than building the widening the roads. And then the other point can also be that they are they transport a lot of people at once, many people at once. One benefit is also that this is environmentally friendly. I guess you could add that as well. And you can use short forms like this, by the way, because it's just note making. No one's going to look at your notes. You're going to delete them anyway. And a final point in favor of trains would be that they benefit everyone, because not everyone owns a car, right? Or a motorbike. But and of course, if you widen the roads, you're only helping those people. You're not helping all the members of your society. Everybody can use the train, but not everyone can use the road, because not everyone owns a car or a bike or a cycle. Right, so that's that. Trains benefit everyone, and so it's fair, of course, to invest in that. So these are my three ideas that I have right here in favor of improving the public transport system. The next thing you need is you will also need counterpoints. Now, what is a counterpoint? A counterpoint is basically explaining why the other opinion is a bad opinion, why the other opinion or the option is a bad idea. Why would widening the roads not be a good idea? Widening the roads, this would not help in peak hour rush. It doesn't matter if you make the roads bigger. That's just going to incentivize people to get on there. Oh wow, the roads are bigger now, great, I can use my car finally. So it just incentivizes people. We could also talk about how they here, what you want to keep in mind is you will want to try as much as you can, make sure that each pair of ideas is related. For example, here you see that the trains are precise and you reach your destination on time, etc. But the road, if you widen the road, it still doesn't fix the traffic problem, because there will always be peak hour rush, right? 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 5 p.m., 4 p.m. peak hour rush will always be there. So it's not very precise in terms of helping people get to their destination on time. My next idea talks about transporting many people at once, which is in favor of trains. What can I say against widening roads? They transport fewer people at once. There you go. So try as much as possible. Now, this is, of course, when I'm creating this text right now, I'm trying to provide you a CLB12 example. You don't necessarily have to do things 100% this way. This is just, a suggestion. Try as much as you can to have both ideas be, related. Yeah. And then when I say that trains benefit everyone, but cars don't benefit. Widening the road doesn't benefit everyone, right? Few people own their own vehicle. So that widening the roads would only benefit a small percentage of the population, which is not fair, because of course you're paying for all this with taxpayer money. So there we go. We have our ideas. And that's it. So now I'm going to continue from this first sentence. So this is not a separate sentence, it's a part of your first paragraph, right? So I continue. Now the first thing I'm going to do is my first idea, trains are precise, right? So most importantly, trains are precise. And they're not affected by traffic. So they are not affected by traffic. So people can easily plan their daily commutes. And daily commutes. You know that if I take this train at 10:15, I will reach the station, my destination, by 10:30, or whatever, something like that. So people can easily plan their daily commutes, and that ensures, which ensures a good work-life balance. Maybe the work-life balance thing is not too important, but let's see. Now, my second point, which is widening the roads would not help during peak hour rush, right? So, however, or I can just use widening, the roads. Widening the roads, however, would not relieve the peak hour traffic jams. So point, counterpoint, that's the kind of pairing that we're going to have. Also, one thing that I would recommend that you don't really need to do, but this is just something I like doing, is I like to have a little conclusion sentence. So for example, hence option 2 would improve people's lives. Public transport would improve people's lives. Oops. There we go. And then my next set of ideas, transporting many people at once. So trains not only transport a lot of people at once, but they are also, or maybe I start with the transition, not only are trains, they are efficient, right? But they're also environmentally friendly because they transport multiple people at once. They transport, well, multiple is just, many is a much bigger, many people at once. On the other hand, cars or motorbikes, etc. On the other hand, let's say street, land vehicles or something like that. Or we could say cars and motorbikes harm the environment. Right? Since they're less fuel efficient, right? Fuel efficient, and transport much fewer people in the same time or at once. Let me see. If I write too many words, and the risk is that it goes over the word count. So at once. And so maybe you can talk about, for example, there are pollution control treaties that countries sign. So considering our commitment, to, what happened there? Pollution control treaties. The second option is the best one, or the second option is the best choice. And then my third set of ideas, and here I talk about trains benefiting everyone. So you can use a transition like this, or furthermore, additionally, not everyone in the city owns a car or owns a personal vehicle, because I've already used car, motorbike, so I don't want to repeat myself too often if I can help it. So not everyone in the city owns a personal vehicle, and most people rely on buses and trains to travel to, well, I think they're talking about building a train. They don't have a train system. Okay, so we rely on buses to travel to their workplaces, or university or colleges. So a train system would, really be beneficial. Trains would be immensely beneficial to every person. Well, almost everyone, to nearly everyone. in the city, but widening the roads or making the roads wider will only help a minority. Would only benefit a small minority. Right. And so last option 2 is a fair choice. There we go, right? Or a fairer choice because we're comparing two things, option 1 versus option 2. So that's our 3 ideas, but we're not done yet. We still need a conclusion. And how do you start that? You can just use something like therefore, overall, hence, thus, some word like that. Here I'm choosing to use therefore. And here you just reiterate that your choice is a better choice compared to the one that you didn't choose to fix the problem. So therefore, improving the public transit system is a far better choice or far superior choice or smarter choice. You can use any word you like. Far better choice for the city compared to widening the roads, which is not beneficial, would not be beneficial and would be a waste of public funds. So this little thing over here, you could even just say, for example, instead of pointing out again the negatives of widening the roads, you could maybe just say that improving the public transit system is a better choice for the city to fix the traffic issue because it's fair to everyone and highly efficient. Either way is fine. Now, moment of truth, how many words is this? And yet again, my word counter is acting up, so I'm gonna have to refresh the page. Let's see. All right, so it looks good enough. Maybe it's a little bit more than 200, and of course if you see that your text is over 200, that's a huge risk, huge red flag. Don't take that risk. Make sure that your text is less than 200 words. 199, that's good, but don't hit 200. I would say anything over 185 is great. That basically ensures that you get, for word count, that you get a 10, 11 or 12, because that's what we're aiming for. Okay, so this is that 201? Okay, so we just need to delete 2 words. This one looks bigger, so we'll try and delete something from here. In my opinion, improving the first sentence is perfect, no problem there. Most importantly, trains are precise and are not affected. I don't really need the pronoun. So people can easily plan their daily commutes, which ensures a good work-life balance. Ensuring, I can use the gerund form over here, and there we go, perfect. And now that's 199, exactly 199 words. So there we go, that's our entire text from start to finish. Now you can pause the screen to carefully read it all. Now again, there's many ways to create a survey response. You don't have to do things 100% the way that I did, because everybody will have their own writing style, but essentially a survey response is not an essay and it's not an email, it's not a letter. So that's one of the biggest issues that we often see that people have when it comes to writing a response to this question type. And of course there will be, this is just the first video in a series of videos. I'm gonna do a lot more CELPIP writing questions, so stay tuned, check back in every week. In fact, we have other videos on the channel as well, which you might want to check out. So if you have any feedback, suggestions, comments, anything at all, you can just drop a comment down below and I'll get back to you. And if you found the video useful, please like it, and you can also just pass it on along to anyone that you know is preparing for the CELPIP. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.